Hi guys, how you doing? First of all, thanks to Cliff. I think his name is Roadhog822 on YouTube. I could be wrong, sorry about that. I'm going to have to really make sure I remember these names. Sorry about that. Cliff. And he started the 2016 box stock group build, and I thought I'd have a go. I don't build a lot of cars. The cars I do build tend to be science fiction orientated type things, and they're not normal everyday cars that you'd find on the road. So I thought I'd have a go, and I had this kit in my stash, this one here, which is a 1966 or American 1966 Buick Wildcat. Rather nice looking car, and I love these 60s cars. So I thought I'd build this. It's by Hasegawa, as I said. It's 1/24th scale. But I didn't want to just build a shiny car, so I decided to make a scenario. Yes, a backstory. So this car was built in 1966, sold in 1967, and it was sold a few times since then, and it's in its present condition. It's the way it looks in 1991, having been put into a garage and forgotten about. So this is it. This is my Buick Wildcat, and as you can see, it's a beast of a car. Very, very long. Big engine, not a huge amount of power. And essentially I made it so that it looks like it's been left in the garage for about 5-6 years. But I really enjoyed making it. I thought it's fantastic. I really did like doing it. See, it has a price on there, which I actually had another price on there, and people said, "Oh God, that's so cheap." So I put the price up. You know, just I want to make more money. But there we go. Not a bad kit. Very, very simple kit. Doesn't have an engine. Also, if we look on the bottom here, you can see it's all molded in one. Well, it was actually all molded in one, and I wanted to make it more, define it more on here, so that it doesn't look like a toy. It doesn't look like it had been molded all in one. So what I did very quickly is I actually pre-shaded it. Yes, I pre-shaded it, like an airplane, I suppose. And then I put some grey primer on, then some black, then some grey, then I put a wash. There goes my phone. And a few washes, in fact. And I'll show you what I used, in fact. Here we go. So I use this cheap and cheerful primer. You get it from a pound shop, or as you would call the dollar stores. They're dirt cheap, pound a throw, but they're really good, and I quite enjoyed using those. The other things I used was use some Panaline accent colour from Tamiya, which is superb. I love this stuff, and simply put it around the edges and things, so that if you look on the tubes here, they've actually got much darker lines along the bottoms to help the tube sort of stand up, you know, stand out from the rest of it. Then what else did I use? I used some of this. This is clay based wash in a sort of rusty colour, and as you can see in there, put a few bits of rust in, and yeah, it looks cool. The actual body of the car we did in plastic coat. I can't remember what aubergine, I think. What? Aubergine, sorry. So it's that sort of colour. Yeah, glossy, of course. And then for the interior, we used this stuff, which is Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch, and as you can see, it's more of a red. So if you look at the, don't look too close, not too close. So you've got the aubergine colour there. The lights are bouncing off it, and we also, if you look in there, I actually masked off the seats, and then I used a marker to actually define the seats. Then I used some of the panel line accent colour to go over, and then wipes it all off again, and it leaves just a tiny amount on there to make the seats look, in my view, dirty. I think it looks cool. The actual dash was a Dickel. That was great, and I put a wash over that. I also, because this is box stock and you couldn't do much else but box stock, which is fine with me, I'm very happy with that. There's a newspaper or something in the back seat. I actually took that off the instruction manual and just cut that out of the actual car's instruction manual. And if you look in there, I don't want to get too close, but in there you see a thermos flask on the seat. See there? And that's just a piece of chrome sprue and painted with the end to depict the cup. And so essentially the guy who parked this up for the last time couldn't be bothered taking the flask, the thermos flask, back into the house and have it cleaned up. He just left it on there. So there we go. What else did we do? When we put the paint on, I didn't want it to be that shiny because obviously it's been left around in a garage for a long time. So I wet sanded it down in a few places, left it glossy here and there, but it's been wet sanded. And also I used, which I haven't got, it's one paint I didn't get, I used some rail match paints, sleeper grime, and I put some sleeper grime in the parts that I wanted to have the rust. Then I used some bauxite, again rail match paint, paint that you would normally use for model railroads actually, and I just dabbed that on. Now as you can see there, see if I can get that close, it's bobbly, it's bobbly, and what I did with that, I painted the red colour, the aubergine, on here, and whilst it was damp I took a very, very small sponge and just dabbed it in and brought out some of that wet paint, so it made it bubble like rust was coming through. And then I just used the paints just to dab on with a sponge, a very small sponge, and then dabbed it on so that it sort of raises it above the normal paint. And that seemed to work okay. The grille, actually I had a bit of a, if you look on the headlights there, they're actually a little bit yellow. It's because I put dabs of silver and white paint behind the lenses, and unfortunately the combination turned them a bit yellow, but I think they look okay. And then I'll use the panel line in the grills and things, put some rust on the actual what are these called, bumpers. So there we go, there's my model. I quite like it. I'm quite pleased with it actually. I wouldn't mind making a few more of these, but you know, maybe one with an engine, who knows. Anyway, slides coming up right now.
Wildcat, 1966 Wildcat, one of the tuned cars from Buick. Styling, performance, ride and handling, all tuned to work together. 1966 Wildcat. See and test drive it now at your Buick dealers. Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick? 66 Buick, the tuned car.